Hi everyone, today we are going to solve logarithmic equations and learn the step-by-step strategies that make these problems easier to understand. We'll look at how to rewrite logs, apply properties, and solve equations while making sure our answers are valid. Get ready to unlock the power of math together. Let's dive right in. There are two techniques to solve logarithmic equations algebraically. The first one is rewriting if you have the same base. Now, the same base, again, applies to the one-to-one property. So if you have the same log with the same base, one on the left side and one on the right side, then you can set your arguments equal to each other and then solve. And then you can also rewrite exponentially using your circle of life. Now, again, remember, you can always check your solutions graphically. Now, since the domain of a logarithmic function is restricted, you do need to watch out for extraneous solutions. So please remember that if you have a log of 0 or negative numbers, then these are undefined, or you can write no solution. Now, when you're solving, you do need to isolate your logs. So let's look at question number 1, and we are going to subtract 3 first. So you have 4 ln of x is equal to negative 8. You are going to divide both sides by 4. So the ln of x is equal to negative 2. You can rewrite in exponential form. So e to the negative 2 is equal to your argument. So now when you plug this into your calculator, you get x equals 0.135. Remember, you do have to check. So we're going to take our answer and plug it back into our argument there. As long as it gets me positive, we're good. And final answer would be 0.135. Okay. In question number 2, what you will see is that you have logs on both sides. Now, however, you don't have a singular log, so what we will do is we're going to use our properties, and we're going to remember that when you are subtracting, you can condense, and then your arguments will actually be divided. So that is how you can condense, and then the left side is going to be the same. Now that you have a log on the left of the same base and on the right, you set your arguments equal to each other and then continue to solve. Now again, because you have a fraction, you can cross multiply. So that would be x plus 5, that quantity, times x plus 1. So we will put in parentheses. Now you do need to multiply this using your box method or double distribute or FOIL, whichever way that you learned how to multiply binomials. So this would get you x squared plus 6x plus 5 after you simplify everything. Now you have a quadratic, so your first thought would be, oh, I need to get this equal to 0, so that way I can possibly be able to factor, which means I'm going to subtract 8x and subtract 13 to get 0 on the right side. This would get me x squared minus 2x minus 8. Now in this question, when we look at this, we're going to do our factoring again. So if x squared, you have negative 2x and minus 8. So what you will see is that you have x and x. And then you have a negative 4 and a positive 2. So this would get you a negative 2x and would multiply to negative 8. So my two factors are x plus 2 and x minus 4. Still equal to 0. So we're going to keep carrying that along with us here. Now we're going to set each factor equal to 0. So that way you can solve. And your answer will be negative 2 as well as a positive 4. Now you will need to check. You'll have to substitute your answers for x and see if they actually work in all your arguments. Remember, you cannot have a 0 or negative number. So if I take negative 2 and even plug it in for one of my arguments, negative 2 plus 5, okay, that works. That's 3. If I take negative 2 and plug it in for x here, that gets me negative 16 plus 13, which is a negative 3. So that does not work. And then you're going to try the same thing for 4. So you're going to take 4. 4, and make sure that you just get positives. 4 plus 5 is 9. And then you have 32 plus 13. We're good. And you got the last one. So that is 5. So now this works, just 4. And then 4 is your final answer. Okay, in question number 3, you do have 2 logs, so we will condense. So if you have a plus, in order to condense, you would multiply your arguments. So that's x times x minus 7, and that is equal to 3. Let's go ahead and just distribute. So log base 2 of x squared minus 7x. This is our argument, right, which is equal to 3. Now, you only have one singular log, so you cannot say that, oh, my argument x squared minus 7x is equal to 3. 3 is not an argument, right? You don't have a log on the right side. So you will go ahead and rewrite in exponential form. So here's my base of 2, circle of life, 3, circle of life, x squared minus 7x. Now when you simplify, you get 8 equals... And again, what we have is a quadratic, so we're going to subtract 8 from both sides so we can get 0 on the left-hand side. So you're going to get 0 equals x squared minus 7x minus 8. Now you can factor this using your box, whichever way you're more comfortable with. So you're going to get x plus 1 and then x minus 8. Find both of your answers. This will be negative 1. This will be a positive 8. And don't forget to check. So I'm going to take negative 1, plug it into argument here and argument here. If I take negative 1 to the first argument, that one's already out. And if I take 8, you got 8. And then 8 minus 7 is 1. This is good. So my final answer is only 8. Thanks for learning with me today, unlocking the power of math one problem at a time. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future notifications on Precalc videos. See you in the next lesson.